All right, what's going on, guys? My name is Doug with LSK Suspension, accompanied by Aaron, Patrick, and Brian. We just got done with the whole King of the Hammer setup, and it was quite a adventure getting there. So I want to talk about the road to getting to Hammers, the experience there, and how you guys are feeling after, and what are the plans for 2025. So we can start with, you guys can introduce yourselves, talk about the cars you guys have.
Hey guys, I'm Brian. I am running a 2020 YXZ 1000R. It's a full frame stretch, so it's actually got the same wheelbase and width as that Maverick R. And it's full manual, so it's super fun. The road to get there, car's been raced once before, but different sets of rules, and I made the decision to do the race about 2 weeks before, so it was a thrash. I had several late nights sitting on that lift, getting ready. I think it was Wednesday night before the race. I was here till midnight before we left. And then the car wouldn't start when I left. It was fun. Stupid rollover sensor. But, yeah, it was a blast. It was a thrash to get there, but it was a blast. So that was my kind of road
Did
there.
you ever have doubt getting the car there, like working up to those days?
No, but the night before when it wouldn't start, I had a little meltdown for sure.
Pretty typical YXZ problems.
Yeah.
Well, his car is not. It's not really a YXZ anymore. That thing is fully built out.
It's a YXZ motor and trans and dips, and that's about it at this point for sure.
That's the problem.
It's not stock for Aaron for sure. So, yeah. The night before was a little interesting. Towing it out there with it not starting was nerve-wracking for sure, but we got to figure it out.
You weren't even planning on racing Hammers until a few weeks before, right?
Yeah, it was literally a decision. It was a game time decision like 2 weeks before. So
it's a big race to just randomly decide to do that.
Yeah, I think it was a lot of peer pressure at the shop, and Aaron was already going, and these two were both racing, and the car was close, and we ran it hard a couple weekends in a row to see if we'd have any issues, and it ran good, and we sent it. So it was a blast. It ended up being a rough weekend, but we had a blast.
Patrick?
It was good. Not a lot of road to it. My car was pretty much ready to go. I don't think I put anything on it. Actually, I just prepped it. Fluids, filters, nut and bolt check. It was all pretty good. Getting there, that was pretty much it.
You've put quite a few races on that car, haven't you?
Yes, I have. A bunch of District 38 stuff. King of the Hammers last year. Car is actually for sale, so if anybody wants a clean 2022
this guy's plugging his
Razor
car right in there.
Turbo R for sale,
boy.
I got you one.
Didn't she win the District 38 season?
Yeah, the championship, the Pro Turbo
championship car, ready to go.
Yeah.
So championship car, lightly used.
Lightly used, never abused, always babied.
Always baby.
Fully
She's a sweet
prepped
girl.
and ready to
All right.
go.
Yes.
Clearly, this guy was sleeping like a baby before the race. X travel.
Yeah.
She's ready to rock.
So if you want to get into racing and want a race car ready,
this turnkey.
this guy.
Yeah. I saw how well Aaron did, and I realized I should probably switch over to a Mav R, so
Yeah.
we'll see.
I feel like the Mav Rs were a big change this year for side-by-sides.
Yeah.
A lot of people freaked out in the beginning with these crazy knuckles, but I think they're pretty sick now.
Yeah.
Now that we've got to see them work, and it's cool.
It's going to be interesting to see kind of what the factory starts putting behind it, the force of what they can do, and really start seeing everybody step up the Can-Am stuff.
They got to step up to Aaron's car's level now.
Yeah.
I don't know. Watching that thing drop back door in the rock race was
Gnarly.
pretty impressive. The fact that thing did that on, I don't know if exactly what stock parts, but stock knuckles, what he had for arms, that was impressive. Pretty wild.
All
Kyle
right.
Chaney's a madman.
So I'm Aaron. I'm driving the Maverick R, the LSK Maverick R. It was super cool to go out in a car this year that was new, and people kind of had their eyes on like how that car was going to do, how the trans is going to hold up, it being a 7-speed, how the diffs are going to hold up, how in general they were just going to do through the rocks and through the desert course. And I didn't do the rocks, but I did the desert course with these guys, and the car is badass. I mean, it's kind of insane how much power it has out of the box, and even when it was a stock car, it was incredible. Now, we teamed up with King. We put Kings on it, big 3.0s, get rid of that shock fade, and it just takes the big stuff like beautifully. I think we went through. I mean, it was literally 4 hours of nonstop, going as fast as we could, and we still had the full shock dampening even by the end, which by then you'd think it'd start getting kind of sloppy. So I guess the biggest concern we had is wheels and tires aren't available for this thing. When I say wheels and tires, there's people putting Tacoma wheels on them for being a 6-lug, and there's a lot of wrong offset wheels, and for a racing application we don't want to push the wheels out and increase the scrub radius, so was really waiting around for the right wheel to come out. So now that they're starting to trickle out, of course right after King of the Hammers, so we ran stock wheels and tires. They all delaminated. Some of them got tumors on the side of them. I think they just got too hot. There's literally bubbles on the side of the factory tires. So they're definitely not meant for racing, but we gave her hell, and they held up. We had one blowout. So
Gonna go ahead and throw out a shout out to Eric Kozen for letting us borrow
Yeah,
his
yeah.
full set. That was clutch. So
Yeah,
thank you,
we
Eric.
were-
That was super cool.
we were super worried about not having wheels for it because the tires were so bad that Eric actually brought out 4 of them just in case. We didn't have to use them, but we had them. So I wasn't gonna be stuck.
You blew out 2 rims the weekend before.
Blew out 2 rims a weekend before, put rocks right through the rims.
He did.
Oh yes, the shock tuner did.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at Barstow when we were at shock tuning. So
Shout out to Ed.
shout out to Ed. Yeah, thanks Ed. So then we blew a rock during the race, blew a tire out during the race. I don't know if we're getting into that yet, but
How was your road to the race?
road to the
The
race.
road to the
Oh,
race.
man. I
Road to
guess-
the race. 2 months ago, this car was
I
stock.
guess we designed all these parts in like 2 days and built the car in a day. No, I'm just kidding. No, right when we got the Maverick R, I took it apart. I think it had 0 miles on it. I stripped it all the way down to all the suspension off it, 3D scanned everything. I think I took about 60 gigabytes of scan data from this car. And I think I had about 2 months of sleepless nights working till like 2 or 3 in the morning. Completed 24 total products for the Maverick R, including like stock bolt-on stuff that we're doing a line for that we haven't released yet.
So
And,
let's
This
go
guy would
that's
send me
standard.
texts or emails at like 2 in the morning.
yeah.
A
So
finished product.
so
Let's be real, that's standard.
Yeah, it's
So after getting everything designed and built on the car, then finally got to the race product. So now we have what you'd buy for this car if you want to just bolt it on in your garage, and then there's also we have the product that makes it where you can make this thing race legal and everything's there. Come to you in a box. So we really want to like go the mile for like what everything would tend to most people. And literally the only thing we have left is doors that open because these are just skins, and then trailing arms. I think that's the last 2 items we can possibly make for this car that falls in our genre. We did exhausts.
Yeah, we've gone front to back on this car pretty much.
Yeah. So there's really not much more we could do. We're gonna have the window net kits available for it. So yeah, the road was pretty bad because it was just like a slash or a thrash. Sorry, from the moment we started working on it when we got it to the time with King of the Hammers.
So
And,
in the next month
yeah,
or two,
I mean, it was worth it.
for you,
Now
but
it's all
very
basically
soon all this stuff's gonna be on the
bolt-on.
website.
So
You could
in the next
you can
month
build
or
this
two,
car
yeah,
as a
but
bolt-on.
Very soon,
right,
all this stuff's
like,
gonna get on the website. You can build this car
Yeah.
as a bolt-on.
Right.
Like
Like if I had everything we had now, where we had everything developed, if I had all the parts laying on the floor, since everything's now tested and tuned in, I mean, I could probably build this car again in three days, realistically, like from start to finish. I mean, it's realistically everything all laser cut and like
3
put
long
together.
days.
those might be
3
Aaron
long days. Yeah,
Yeah, you
Yeah.
could
it
legitimately.
might be 3 20-hour days, but
you
I could do it.
You could build this thing in a week or two at home pretty easily.
And
The
it-
hardest thing would be welding the cage.
Yeah, it'd be just like this, and then this race door setup will work with our flat cage also. So I know everyone was like, "Oh, you're gonna do a flat or radius," and I was like, "You know what? Let's just do both. Screw it. Like that way, if you like flat, you can get flat. If you want radius, you want to get radius. The cages are almost the same. It's literally just that is the difference."
You want to talk about King and Baja coming on board with this car?
Yeah. So it was super cool that Baja and King wanted to work with us. King, reached out and said, "Hey, we're going to be doing 3.0s. The factory arm won't clear the reservoir. What are you gonna? Can you guys work on an upper arm?" So we ended up getting. They gave us a mock-up shock. We scanned it. We put it into the CAD model that moves for the Maverick R, and then made sure that the new upper arm cleared the reservoir when it was cycled. So we made up our arms. We got the 3.0 coilovers on there. We went tuning out there with King. The thing was freaking awesome. And then on top of that, this car was used literally when it had 10 miles on it. Baja Designs took it and said, hey, we're going to develop all the light products on it, all the light mounts and stuff. So they decked it out with all their lights. We ended up remounting it for our cage product after everything was no longer stock. But it was cool. They collaborated with us. They gave us a lot of lights on this car. It definitely looks like a bright blueberry when it's flying toward you. So that's
It's cool in the desert though. You know you're coming.
Yeah, you know you're
got
coming,
a ton
yeah.
of light on
Yeah.
that thing. And
Yep.
what also is cool is Baja's kind of taking care of all of us. So all 3 of our cars are rocking Baja Designs,
Yeah.
and they're the best of the best
They
by
are.
far.
It's awesome
So
stuff.
thank you guys. We're stoked on that.
Yeah, thank you. Well, what's next?
Yeah, let's get into once you guys got to Hammertown. I know you got there a couple days before, right?
Yeah.
And you as well, or
I got there. I want to say, was it Wednesday night or Thursday night? Thursday night, like midnight or later than that. It's like it was a thrash. I think
Thursday night, and then Friday was.
Yeah, so I got there Thursday night because Friday morning we got up, we did the photo shoot, and then we went to go get tech. So yeah, I got there Thursday night.
Yeah, tech was a long wait, huh?
Yeah. Tech was,
Just
but it
lines
worked
on
out in my
lines.
favor because I had a couple little issues that Aaron helped me figure out while we're sitting in that line. So we were wishing we had more pre-running time, but in all reality, it worked out in my favor for sure.
Yeah.
So how does tech go down for people who've never experienced that? Like, what is a tech?
Yeah,
look
so
like for you guys?
before the race, there's a whole rule book with all the requirements and everything you got to do, and all the different series have slightly different rule books. So for like mine, I had to do a different roof because KOH requires an 1/8 inch thick roof, and I changed some harness mounts and random little stuff, but they'll give you a list that we all use as a checklist, and we had them on all the cars. So ahead of time, we're running through all that, checking boxes, trying to make sure you're totally good to go. And I probably went above and beyond, at least according to him. I made sure everything to the T was done. I was not going to have issues. But once you get there, we stay a little ways away. We stay on the dry lake bed, soggy dry lake bed, so it's a little cruise over for us. But once you cruise into Tech, there was a pretty good line going through the King of the Hammers area. But there's a line of cars, and you're going through. And then essentially they take that checklist and look over the car. I actually wasn't there. I was tracking down some pins for my harnesses, so maybe they can comment on the actual process.
Yeah, so the tech was a little bit of a mess. And I don't even know if it really wasn't like Hammer Productions' fault. It was that people just don't read the rule book. So in the rule book, there was a new added addition this year where you had to give a pigtail of a positive 12 volt to the negative, so that your passenger had access to the rally track. What was it? Rally
Safe.
Rally Safe, which is their GPS tracker for you being able to hit all the virtual checkpoints and seeing where you're at. So if you're out there, lost, they can find you. So instead of it being battery powered like it was last year, they did really fancy Rally Safe ones, and they needed power. And that what they wanted was people to hook it not through the switch from the battery, but directly to the battery. So if something happens and you kill the car or the battery, it's not like they can still find you because hopefully the wire hasn't burned up going
Yeah,
to
if
the
you have a
battery.
nasty crash and something happens, it's
Yeah.
still going to be powered on, and I think it even automatically alerts them if there's like a G-force
Yeah,
or something.
or if you're stopped. Yes. So honestly, what was crazy is the tech line. You see like cars with plastics taken off, and people have spools of wire in their hood, and they're like running these pins. It's as if everyone just assumed everything was the same as last year, and so it made tech very slow. When we first got there, I think they said it would take somewhere between 5 and 6 hours to
Yeah.
get through tech, and we were like, what? Like, it's because every car was 10 to 15 minutes trying to deal with these terminals or this connector that people just weren't prepared for. I'm not really sure how it got missed, but it was a thing. And then finally, I think the tech guys got so frustrated, they just started sending the guy down the line with a cord that had a light in the end of it to see if people were hooking it up correctly when you hit the kill switch. And if you didn't, they were having you fix it before you even got up to the front of the tech.
Which is smart, so they didn't put reverse all those boxes.
So
for
as
sure.
frustrated as they were, they kind of figured out how to like weed the people out that just didn't have their stuff together. I mean, there was a good 10 cars in front of us. Every single one of them was working on this terminals. It was crazy.
Well, I was fixing, or you were fixing a clutch sensor. in my car.
Right, yeah.
But we got to figure it out.
But no, the tech is pretty cool. Obviously their main reason for the tech stuff is for safety and making sure we're not out there riding in something that really shouldn't be, because there's probably a lot of people that will put something together that, shouldn't be out there getting beat on. And so they're just really there to make sure that, what's going out on the track is or the course is good and fair, and it's also
They just want to
safe.
ensure everybody's
Yeah,
safety.
yeah, for sure.
It's-
Yeah,
it
making
comes
sure you
down
don't
to
have.
safety at the end of the day.
They want to make sure you don't have shitty seat belts, like they're not expired. You have good helmets. You have your Hans device for your neck restraint. You just have everything you need. You have your flame racing suit on, and it's really just to make it so that they're doing what they can to make sure you don't die.
Yeah,
Right?
which is
Yeah, it's
smart.
pretty solid. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so
You guys all passed tech first try?
Yeah, I had to get pins for my clip-in harnesses, and we found those, put them in, and we were good.
yeah, I think tech took me a total of like 2 minutes,
Same.
which was awesome because
was
we
nice.
we had our shit together, which was cool, and it would be awesome if people got their shit together for the future. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, the tech is pretty easy going. As far as like getting through it, if you have your stuff done and you read the rule book, if you're missing anything, they're just gonna you're gonna sit there until you figure it out, or they're not gonna let you through. So,
And there's a checklist. Run through that checklist repeatedly.
Yeah.
and we.
I mean, you're spending all that time getting ready for hammers anyways.
Oh, for sure.
Just
for sure.
do the checklist and be done with it,
yep.
So you guys got through tech. Did you guys go out at all that day, or did you just head back to camp?
So we pre-ran. You wanna talk a bit?
Yeah, we finished tech, went out and pre-ran. We pre-ran with you, Aaron, Brian, and our buddy Kevin and Anthony. They were
Are you
kinda-
allowed to pre-run the whole course?
whole course?
Yeah, we did.
Yep, as many times as you want. We were able to get in one good one, so that was nice. But so we went off, did a nice pre-run pace, felt comfortable. The pro top level guys, they're hitting it like 3 or 4 times probably.
Yeah.
Which would be ideal. Maybe one day in the future we'll be able to kind of do that sort of thing.
We were all doing it in our car, in the race
In
cars
our race
too. So I don't
cars,
know if
yeah.
I'd want to do it 3 or 4 times and put that many miles on it prior to the race
Yeah.
either. But
You definitely need like a team helping you out when you get back to re-prep your car. And
yeah, if you're gonna run multiple laps on it, for sure.
Yeah. But we got a good solid lap in, kind of took some notes, like my co-driver, Louis, he was doing a really good job adding a couple little kickers here and there, some booters. So that was nice. Overall, it seemed pretty solid. Nobody had any issues.
Yeah, they had the course marked well. Chris, my fiance, did a good job taking extra notes too in certain spots. Trying to get the gotchas that, at race pace you want to know ahead of time for sure.
Yeah, and just for people that don't know, like pre-running is not just it's fun, but it's to go out there and hit the stuff that is going to screw you up, the sweeping turns that you can't account for when you're going fast, and that way, I have a Garmin. You guys have Lawrence's, correct? Yeah. So we're cruising through. We see a big bump that we're like, oh crap! Like that was gnarly. Then we're gonna stop. We're gonna mark that. We put a skull icon on it, and then we know like, hey, when we're going fast, like, hey, there's something coming up in like 500 feet, and you better slow the hell down. And that makes it so you can have some confidence and get through this stuff very quickly, and know that you're not going to hit. Hopefully, if you marked everything right, hit something you weren't expecting. So it's a pre-running is super important. And it's really just to keep you out of danger, so you can get up to speed when you can and know what's coming up.
Yeah.
So.
yeah, so once you guys got done Friday, tech, pre-running, Saturday morning was the prologue, right?
Yeah.
And you guys all, what time do they do in the morning for you guys?
We were at, I think it started at 8, and I was the very first UTV. So I had all the Class 10 cars in front of me, and I was the first UTV out there. And then because my wheelbase is stretched, I had to run open, which meant I was running against all the Pro Rs technically. And they were all right immediately behind me, including Doug Matag.
How'd that feel?
It was intimidating for sure, but at the same time, I was out this weekend. I wasn't there to win. I was there to finish and learn and get the car to the finish line, which we didn't do, but we'll get to that. But yeah, having Doug Matag starting a minute after you, he caught me super quick. He was actually the only one that caught me for most of the lap. In the last 5 or maybe 10 miles, they started catching up, but it was intimidating having him behind you for sure.
Yeah.
So those cars have double the power of mine currently. So it was interesting for sure. But
How'd Prologue go for you?
so Prologue. So in pre-running, I've fought axle issues all weekend, unfortunately, which is funny because the car's got 700 or 800 miles on it, and until now it's been fine. And we beat the hell out of it the previous weekend, and not a single issue. So kind of a bummer. But so I had the front driver inner CV pop out of the diff in pre-running. We caught it super quick, pushed it back in, wasn't a problem. Unfortunately, on our cruise over to the Prologue Saturday morning, it popped out again, and we're talking driving the thing at 10 or 20%. It's freezing cold at sunrise, just trying to get over there. So I caught it as we're sitting staging. I was one of the first cars there, and I couldn't get it fully in, but did the best I could, and then we ran the Prologue knowing that it would likely pop back out. So ended up running the whole Prologue in two-wheel drive. That axle did pop out pretty quickly, like 4 or 5 miles, and I had to back it down, just trying to get the car, YXZs have an issue with rear axles if you're running them hard in two-wheel drive, so I backed it down to probably at least 50% or less, just trying to finish the lap. Doug Matag passed me in the sand like 5 miles in, but we carried a pretty good pace after that. Got most of the way through the lap, and then it's a 30-mile loop, I'd say 24, 25 miles in. You get to this big sandhill section towards the end, and there's a big GL at the bottom, and we were in two-wheel drive, so we hit it pretty quick to keep our momentum going up the hill and snapped a rear axle. So at this point, I'm one-wheel drive going up sandhills and literally never stopped. Left it in third gear, just stayed on the gas and tried to keep every mile an hour I possibly could. Side hilling the course, so I may have missed a VCP, I don't know. And then I know there was a hard right, uphill and left behind back door, and I had to kind of cut right through the middle at a 45 just to keep the car moving. But we got back to finish line barely, but we got there. We got a time, and for all things considered, it wasn't a bad time. So it was an adventure. Qualifying was the most fun part of the weekend for me, but obviously it would have been nice to keep at least one more axle in the car.
I was filming in the short course on Prologue Day.
Oh yeah, barely even made it on one of those berms.
I saw you came up over the Bronco, and when you were dropping down, everybody was going slow there, so I didn't really notice you having an issue. But once you got down to the short course, I'm like, dude, no way, because I wanted to film you guys hauling ass through those berms right there. But at least you made it all the way through.
Yeah, we kind of missed that corner too, but luckily the footage didn't catch it. So that would have been cool to pre-run and know. I guess we should have known that, but it was my first time coming into the infield.
Oh, when you went out, yeah.
Yeah, coming down that Bronco thing, I didn't make the immediate left that we were supposed to.
Out. He was like, hey.
Yeah. So then we just went through the infield, and literally I kind of went wide on one of those berms and almost got stuck in one of those berms because we were literally one-wheel drive. Like, we barely made it back. Barely. But yeah, it was a blast. It was an adventure, the challenge to get the thing back that way. So qualifying was the most fun part for me, for sure.
So for those that don't know, the Prologue is really cool because your time from the Prologue actually gets factored into your race day. So it's not just your starting position, but it's also added on. So it gives you that incentive to want to do really well. So instead of giving your car, maybe 70% in the Prologue, we push it a little bit harder to get that better time.
The other side of that is if you didn't finish the Prologue, you got the slowest time of your class plus 10 minutes. So I was just trying to get that car back to the finish line. I just wanted to finish, period, but it was a mission. But yeah, it was cool how they add that into the race total for sure.
I wish they just land rush to start like a Class 11 race.
That would
first car to finish wins,
That would get rowdy. There'd be some carnage. Think about dirt bike hole shots.
Run to it and
I feel like it'd be more like racing,
It'd be pretty sick, but it'd be a shit show at the same time.
Like the Class 11 starts.
Yeah, that was cool. Hell yeah.
Yeah, but it was all over. Everybody was jumping the line. Like nobody could figure out when to actually start.
Yeah. Plus, you're a little bit more protected with the wheels. You get that many of these side by side with open wheels. I mean, it would be a shit show.
Gnarly.
They do that at
But it'd be
District
cool.
38, so it is doable. But,
They do it in sections, don't they?
Yeah, they do like lines. I think
Four
if you're
or so.
desert racing dirt bikes, I think a lot of times they'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
So
How many were lined up on the Class 11?
40,
it was
50?
30-something cars.
Maybe
Wasn't
40,
it?
yeah.
Mhm.
Crap.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was wild.
And the last one of them couldn't get started, so they had to bump start him. Everybody was pushing his car. It was cool.
That's cool.
So
So yeah, that was my Prologue. Sorry for taking so long.
Oh, we got time. Patrick.
Mine went good. So it's qualifying. And so in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, don't want to go too slow and not get a good time because, like Aaron said, it adds into your overall. But I don't want to go too fast and just wreck it, early on. And so it's just like that fine line of,
Some
okay,
strategy in there.
a little bit, yeah. I mean, once you start, you kind of can't help it. You're just like, okay, I'm going.
Yeah, it's hard to
There
pull
goes-
yourself
yeah,
back
it's
sometimes
hard.
for sure.
Really hard. But there was a couple times where, okay, we're doing a good pace. We passed somebody, and okay, we keep going. Seems like we're doing all right. And I think I don't know exactly where we qualified. Somewhere out of the top 10, I think. But it felt like
I think
we
you
were
were like
right
11
in.
or 12.
Yeah, so we were right in there, and I felt perfectly happy with it.
His whole weekend until probably mile 5 or 7 of the race was cruising.
It was nice until
Yeah.
about mile 5,
Yeah.
but we'll talk about that in a second.
Then Aaron, he's like the big guy in the
Oh,
prologue.
yeah. Big Prologue guy.
How'd it go?
What happened on the Prologue again?
I think you passed a big hitter.
Oh, I did.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
there
yeah.
you go. Yeah, so
Oh.
yeah, so
Highlight.
Prologue went pretty good.
His last name
I
rhymes
think-
rhymes with Jordan.
Oh yes, yeah. So
Bobby.
I ended up qualifying in sixth place.
Sixth.
Yeah, so qualified sixth in the Pro Turbo class. My goal was to beat Robbie Gordon, and I did it. I was one position ahead of him in the time. So my whole weekend was made right there. That was cool.
Hats off, sir. That's pretty rad to say.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool just being behind the speed cars and then being able to pass them. Pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Those cars looked like they were doing good, but we were able to catch up to them. So the qualifying was pretty good. It was smooth. It was fast. The connection. There's a connection when you go in the prologue and you're on the course. You're running about 10 miles of the actual race course, and then they have a connector that connects you to the end of the race course, which is another 10 miles. So let's call it like, this isn't exact, but 10 miles, like a 10-mile connector and a 10-mile end.
Yeah,
Roughly.
and it was the most fun sections of the course, in my opinion, too.
So the very beginning, everyone thinks they're going to win right off the beginning. There's this super rocky section, and you will blow every tire you have. There's some people that just send it and
Get
get
a lot
lucky.
of G-outs too in the beginning.
Yeah, it's super sketchy.
Oh, it's
And-
deep. It'll swallow a whole car.
Yeah, so I cruised through it. We just kept a consistent pace. We just not putted through it, but we kept a consistent, speed that was good. We weren't going to hit, things with it. We didn't want to blow tires. I'm on stock tires. And there's some people that just want to fly through it, and then they blow a tire right after they get out of it. So once we got up to the connector, you were on the gas. I'm pretty sure between the front for the first section to the across the connector, I think we averaged somewhere around 90 miles an hour, and we were moving. And when we got to the other end, we were still cruising, and then there's a rocky section in the second half of that at the end, and that's where you kind of slow down. There's a big hill you go up to. You hit the virtual checkpoint, and you come back down the hill.
Oh, that downhill section was
Yeah,
rad.
pretty gnarly. And no, it was good. Prologue was good. We got 6th in class. That was sweet. We were stoked about it. And just was faster than these guys. That's all that matters.
So you get done with your prologue day. You went back to camp.
Oh, yeah.
Worked on the YXZ.
Yeah, camp turned into a workshop real quick. I want to thank my buddy Dylan Kelly. He pulled a couple axles off his car for spares for me.
His personal car, right?
Yeah, his personal car. He pulled his car apart. He
What a
brought,
buddy.
yeah, he's a good dude. Thank you, Dylan.
Was that his toy car for the weekend, or was he racing too?
No, he's got another fully built YXZ. He was racing for a while. I think he's kind of taking some time away from that.
YXZ Brothers for life, huh?
Yeah, and his brother Brady Kelly, who co-drives for a lot of big names, great dude. He ended up staying with us Saturday night too, and we wrenched, man. The rear axle was super easy. Got that done pretty quick. The front, I think, came in and out 4 or 5 times. We'd get it fixed, go drive it. It'd pop out in a couple minutes.
How long did it all take?
We worked till midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we worked
Yeah,
till
Aaron
midnight.
was supposed to be a celebrity at Baja Designs that night.
Yeah, I actually got to thank you guys too. Everybody chipped in. You and Van were
I
there.
had my own hell to deal with too.
Yeah. What happened with your car?
Oh yeah, so thinking the car is perfect, there's nothing to do. Back qualifying, topped off the gas, loaded on the trailer so we could bring it down to Hammertown in the morning. And I'm just looking around, all the bolts are tight and everything, and I look at the ball joint and I see that the clip isn't fully seated, and actually the clip was gone, and the ball joint was an 1/8 inch out. And it's a press fit, so it must have been just like sledgehammering it on rebound. I didn't have time to put the limit straps in the front, so it just knocked that out. So we're sitting there. We took a Harbor Freight jack, and no, actually the Harbor Freight one broke. We used the
It was my Pro Eagle.
that Pro Eagle one. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you broke mine.
We put straps around it. We created a press out there, and we pressed it back in. And then we had a razor in camp that had the same size C clip. Stole the C clip. I grinded down the fit, got it in. It never popped out. So that was a last minute save. But it was like 8 o'clock, and then I was like, all right, we're gonna have a smooth night. And it was like, oh
Yeah, it
shit,
turned
like we're
quickly.
about to like get the car off trailer. There's like 6 people helping me try to make this thing happen. And
there was
so
like 12 dudes working under the lights for a while. And
it was definitely it was stressful. It was like, should I just drive this thing back to the shop and fix it and come back at 3 in the morning? But no, it made it. That clip is still in there too.
some MacGyver shit right there.
Huh?
Shout out to Zach.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Zach with the press idea with the jack
Mhm.
dialed. That's the way to do it. You know, actually, that's how we should press everything in moving forward. Is just with the jack and the strap.
Jack and ratchet straps.
Yeah. That's
Screw
it's not
the
sketchy
hydraulic
at all.
press.
Yeah. You don't need the
Yeah.
hydraulic press. Yeah.
And something that we do that was questionable, I think, is we were camping in soggy dry lake bed, so we were about 10 miles, I think, as the crow flies from Hammertown, which is nice in some ways, but also in some ways kind of sucked because we could have probably pretty easily gone over, someone in Hammertown and found something. So
Yeah, if you've never been to Hammertown, it is psychotic.
It is
in Hammertown.
insane.
It's like 200,000 people all camped on top of each other.
Yeah, all in the same area, all with one main road in and out. This year wasn't too dusty because of all the rains and what was flooded early on. Luckily, that didn't turn out to be much of an issue for us. But yeah,
I agree
so
with
we,
Patrick. There's pros and cons to it. I mean, I think it's annoying when you're in like race mode, and you're trying to get all your stuff ready, and you have thousands of people around you just going crazy. But like he said, if you need stuff, it's everywhere out there.
Yeah, for sure.
You got all the desert fam out there.
For sure.
So before we get into race day, not being like a factory team, like what does a pit crew look like for?
It's all
a
of
small
our
team
friends
like
and
this?
buddies.
Hey, they did a killer job.
Yeah.
Kevin was our pit crew chief.
crew chief.
Crew chief. Wow, that was crew chief. I say that. He's got a diesel pre-runner you're stoked to bring out there.
Thing
Pretty
worked
sick.
amazing.
Probably saw it. It went viral.
Yeah, he killed it with
They
that
attracted
truck.
all the guys, so that's good for Kevin.
Dick magnet.
Yeah, so he was really good at keeping everyone at bay. The night before, we put together bins for the 2 pits. We have 2 race radios that we built out last year, so we reuse those. They're awesome. Overall, the pits were pretty sweet. There's some people out there that make you look like you have no idea what you're doing.
Because we don't have any idea what
Yes,
we're doing.
you're right.
That
You're
is
right.
the truth.
You know,
have
we
no
pulled
idea.
it off.
We're getting better for
We're
sure.
We're getting better,
Yeah,
but we have no idea what we're
We
doing.
pulled it off.
Starlink was a game changer, having that in both pits this year.
I think that's the move. All the
Yes.
cars need Starlink.
Yeah.
All the pits need Starlink.
Mhm.
So
I thought we did good. We all had
Yeah.
extra spares. We were all in the same gas cans, all with the red hats this year. Like, I never made it to a pit, so a little sour about that. But I think we did a great job, and I want to thank everybody that helped and was involved for sure.
Yeah.
And Dylan and Brady for coming out, driving out, wrenching on my car till midnight. Thank you guys.
Takes a lot of commitment from a ton of people.
Oh, for sure. It's
get some
a
cars
herd.
on a racetrack.
It's a herd. It's a friends and family. It's not a one man band for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, shout out to everybody that helped out.
Hell yeah.
Sunday morning race day. What was race day? Let's start with Aaron on this one.
I'd say besides shitting a brick.
Yeah, how are the nerves going into that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm sure the people that do it all the time, they're probably like, it's just another day. But you definitely wake up and you're like, damn it. Like,
That's how
I
you woke up?
gotta do this right now. No, I was like, obviously stoked about it, but I was like, all right, let's go. Like, there's no, like, it's either you're ready or not, So we got to the pretty early, and then we drove over to Hammertown, and race day was. Should I go into the actual race?
Yeah, I mean, just driving your car up to that, where the chick's like waving you guys on.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And all the people were like in Hammertown just walking around you guys. I walked up to you. You guys were sitting there. You guys both looked super nervous.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean-
or maybe just focused. I don't know what
Yeah.
it was, but
Yeah, it's cool. There's a lot of companies that were coming over that were standing in there, coming over to introduce themselves and say hi and introduce themselves to us, and it was cool to meet a lot of people that I've known the names of the companies, and now I know faces and names, so that was actually really cool. There's a lot of really cool people in this industry. But yeah, we're all lined up. They get you roughly in the right position, and then what they do is they send you through the whole Hammertown area where all the vendors are, so you're like essentially parading through the people, and then you get up to the start line, and they wave you on there, and they're checking in. I think it was every 30 seconds they were letting go, or was it a minute?
Yeah.
I forget.
It's
I know
every 30
qualifying was a
seconds.
minute. I forget what the race
think
was.
race-
It seemed pretty long.
It was two on, like, you just start two at a time, and for some reason, I was supposed to actually start right next to Robbie Gordon, and somehow I started next to you. I'm not sure what
He didn't want none of that smoke.
happened there. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah, so, but as far as the race goes, should we get into that or not
Yeah.
yet? All right, yeah, so here's the race. So the race was pretty sweet, you know? I'm sorry these guys didn't finish, but, you know.
Tell us all about it.
Yeah. Well,
Tell me
okay.
how it all was.
I'll tell you how great it is to finish.
Okay.
It's awesome.
Okay, yeah, tell me.
So last year I did not finish. We broke at like mile 23, blew a front diff, and the whole front end had locked up on the X3.
This guy had me camped out 20 miles out
Yeah.
on the corner, ready to film. Never
Yep.
showed up. The radios didn't work, so I didn't even know.
Yeah,
I
we
should
learned
go,
a lot.
I should go back to GPS and see if I made it past mile 23 at least. So I can
Yeah.
at least say.
So this time, right out of the gate, we took it pretty easy through that.
Wait, hold on. Right out of the gate, explain what happened.
What happened?
Patrick was ahead of
You
him.
and I lined up, right?
Oh yeah, we lined up. Yeah. And then
Patrick
and then
was ahead of him.
Yeah, pretty much what happened was I said, Max, my co-driver Max, I said, you know, we should probably let him get ahead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like we don't want to
Strategy, okay.
like we could follow his car. Like we're not going to win in the first 10 miles.
I did
you
the
know what
same
I mean?
thing.
So I,
Probably smart.
I let off the gas a little bit and let Patrick go ahead.
All right.
Aaron's
Yeah.
GoPro footage of the
So-
start is real nice because like you can see the LSK car going
Yeah.
for like a couple miles.
That's why I did it.
Okay.
So, yes, we're going, and you're going through this choppy section, and then right off the bat, there's this people that just send it through that section, and then their cars break. And sure enough, that car is broken, but they had nerfed me because they were just hauling ass that section. Once we get out of that nasty section where you can blow all your tires, we're on the gas, but it's not worth the first 5 miles getting a blowout.
You can't win the race the first 5 miles.
No,
but you can
you
sure as
can't.
hell lose it real quick.
Yeah. So we were not gonna put it all down on that really nasty section. But coming out of it, once you get out of that and you get into the sandy washes, essentially the trail, we were holding a good 80, 90 mile an hour pace. It was nice and smooth, sweeping. And then there's this really, really terrible section that's about 20 miles long before the remote pit, and it sucks.
Oh, was that the base?
It's just like in the dips and around. And there's some people that send it. I think that was our weak point, is that we didn't send it through there. We're trying to keep the car happy. And there's some people that just like, they just don't care. They're just like hammering through it as fast as they can. So that was definitely like our weak spot. Got to the remote pit, filled up gas, went back around, had a super clean lap. Come back around, everything was good again, hit the shitty spots. And then about 30 miles from the finish, we were going about, I'd say 90 miles an hour, 95 miles an hour, and we had Cameron Steele pass us on the left, and it was crazy because he was a Maverick R too, and he must have been going like 115. It was, I couldn't believe
So the
it.
guy had the tune on his car.
I don't know.
He had
I don't
the
know.
tune.
But I was pretty much foot to the floor, 90, 95 when I looked down at the GPS, and his car was still flying ahead of us. So I couldn't I was like, okay, how the heck do you win this thing when there's people going like probably almost 120 miles an hour? It's pretty wild. Hauling ass. So after we're cruising through that section, about 25, 30 miles from the finish line, we hit a rock, get a blowout, get out of the car, change the tire. What's funny is Max takes the tire off, throws it on the ground, thinks it's just going to fall, and it like rolls away from the car, so he's like
Oh, no.
chasing the tire.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, so he grabs the tire, we pulled it off, put it back on. We killed like 7 minutes. Really sucked. It was a shitty tire
That's not
change.
terrible though.
It was a shitty tire change.
That's a long tire change, I feel like.
It's a long tire change.
If you're chasing tires through the desert,
It was pretty bad. Yeah, it's pretty bad. And then we were cruising, and we had the car went into limp mode, ended up being an issue with the exhaust, and pulled the wires out in the oxygen sensor. And we ended up being in limp mode for the last 30 miles. I think the fastest it would go was 60 miles an hour, and we lost 2 positions. 2 people passed us, and it just is what it is. But we still finished, even though the last 30 miles were complete crap. Other than that, it was a probably one of the days I've ever had the most fun in my life. It
How was the
incredible.
course second lap? Like how chewed up?
Totally
did it
different.
get? Yeah.
I feel like it was just like, yeah, it was destroyed. It was wrecked.
You know what section I kept seeing people almost flipping their cars on? We were like, once you go out of the beginning of the race, all those like big hills that you guys were going through, and it goes to the big long straightaway out in the middle of the desert.
Yep.
Did you guys see like they call it Rock Hill? People sit on the side over there. It's like a clump of rocks, and a bunch of people line up right there and watch everybody go flying by. But there was like a gnarly G out. It was like flat for like 3 or 4 miles, but in the middle of that there was one G out, and these side by sides kept hitting that thing and like, dude, gnarly. I don't know if you guys remember that spot.
I don't remember that. Maybe I didn't.
I think you were already broke when
I
you
mean,
passed because you were going like 25, maybe 30 miles an hour.
We took it pretty easy. This is the race, the prologue.
race day.
Yeah, so we took it pretty easy because we were already in 2-wheel drive, so we were milking it. But even in pro, that doesn't ring a bell, you guys.
There was a bunch of little.
Yeah, it's probably
So
just
have you-
blends
have
in for sure.
It was a big one.
Yeah.
Trophy trucks were like launching off of it. It was
Damn.
pretty gnarly. I have you guys all on video in that section, so
Nice. Okay.
When are we gonna see that?
probably like 2025.
All right, sweet. Like
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Okay.
No, I've been cranking stuff out.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
not.
yeah.
That wasn't a joke against you. That was the shop joke.
Yeah.
I know it's a shop joke.
Yeah.
Always 2 weeks. We got 2 more weeks until these doors and trailing arms are done.
You're right. It's probably longer than that.
I was gonna say that's optimistic.
Yeah. I need a car to test on, so hopefully Patrick pulls his head out of his ass and go get some.
We need to get
2022 Turbo R for sale.
Huh?
You don't want to rip this apart for the doors, or are you
No.
gonna put doors on it?
No, I'm gonna put doors on his.
So
Test it.
never gonna have doors on this
No.
one.
No.
Man,
It's
just
done.
full race car guy now.
It's done. It's done.
It's like a NASCAR driver.
All right, you guys want to go over your race day?
Yeah, so I'll start. So, like Aaron, I took it. So, at this point, we had worked the night before. I wasn't really nervous until we got to the start line. My car's a manual, and I'm like, I'm gonna be an idiot in front of thousands of people install this thing. I didn't. Just took off normal. It was fine, but I didn't get nervous until then. I've raced moto for years, and also we were wrenching till midnight. I feel like I didn't have time to even think, just trying to get there. Like it all happens very fast. So I actually started next to a Toyota truck. I'm class 7, or I don't know the KOH class for that, but it's probably like a 7 open truck or something. I just let him go. That first section is so deep and gnarly. Like Aaron was saying, I wasn't, especially with axle issues, I just wanted to get through it. Being a bigger truck on bigger tires and stuff, I figured he'd go through the deep stuff. I ended up having to kind of stop on a couple of peaks and let him go. I didn't want to come up on a sandhill with him getting slow and lose my momentum and have any issues, especially in 2-wheel drive. So we took it really easy getting out. We took it, the section I think you're talking about, we were cruising. I don't know if we were going 25. I feel like we were going faster than that. But we were just cruising. There was no pressure on us to win. The car was having issues. We literally just wanted to finish. So we were being very nice to it. But yeah, so we got out, got a pace settled past that truck, and just started kind of cruising. I feel like there was a couple other cars we were mixing up with a little bit early on, and kind of settled in and started slowly picking up the pace, but nothing crazy. And then I think it was about mile 20, we were coming down this multi-line section, and I saw a smoother line than what we were in, so I went to cross trails. And that same driver front corner caught a pretty good hit. It was nothing crazy. It shouldn't have hurt anything. The car's taken 10x that. But unfortunately, that same corner, same axle we'd been having issues with, we snapped the outer axle snout. And you could actually see it was a used axle. It looked like it had been previously damaged, and this just took it out. And then, to make matters worse, that was the same axle that night that we forced in the diff that had kind of chewed up splines, and it was kind of our last ditch effort. So we forced it in. I couldn't ironically get it out of the diff. All weekend I couldn't keep an axle in it, then I couldn't get it out. So we were stuck on the side of the course, had to pull the whole front corner off. I actually pulled the spindle off the car to change the outer snout. I carry a bare snout to put it in. Took forever to get it in. We also have an old screw jack that is a pile of crap, and the car fell on us once or twice. So we will not be racing without an AGM jack. Those guys are rad. We definitely need a jack. It'll be on the car before it goes back out. But yeah, so we ended up getting the car back on its feet. We were going to time out at that section, and there was an issue with the axle nut and the snout that I used. I couldn't get a cotter pin, or I couldn't stake it. It was a mismatched part, so we just limped it back to camp at that point, just trying to be really careful to stay off the course, not interfere with anybody. Had a helicopter flying over us at one point, so we were a little worried, but we were watching the GPS and being super careful. So that was our day. Only made it like 20 miles. Is what it is. We had a blast. We learned a lot. Going to make some changes, whether that is changes to this car or maybe a new car. We'll see. So,
I mean, all in all, you got to race.
yeah, we had a blast. Yeah, I would definitely do it again. I wish I'd committed a little sooner, but in all reality, the car had 700 or 800 miles on it without axle issues previous to this, and everything else, the car was flawless. Thing worked great. Suspension's pretty dialed. One of our engineers here at work, Anthony's been helping me with that, and car works really well for what it is. So, excited if we stay on that path to get some axles in it that'll live and see what we can do with it. So yeah, fun weekend.
Cool. Mr. Tabor.
And my fiance did a killer job navigating all weekend too, and helped
Yeah,
fix
that's
the
cool.
car.
Good experience for you guys.
Yeah, we had a blast. So that was our second race. Sorry to interrupt. Figured I'd throw her a shout out. She killed it. She loves it. We can't wait to do it some more. So if any car changes happen, she just may end up with a YXZ to race herself.
I like
You're going to get her.
Yeah.
Oh, she's going to take the YXZ.
Yeah, we'll see. Too much work and time and effort and money in that car to let it go. So we'll see what happens.
Maverick R, dude.
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully next year there's 3 of them sitting there matching.
We'll get into that.
So the next future Maverick R owner, Patrick.
Yes, converted. It was
I'm
what?
tired of being slow, right?
I'm tired of being slow. I'm tired of.
Didn't you
gravel
beat him
too.
last season in District 38?
You did.
I did.
That
but-
wasn't a Maverick R.
In the next
Yeah.
three.
No, this thing's cool. It's I mean, as everybody knows, the knuckle geometry. It's fast, gnarly car. It's a gnarly car.
Gnarly.
Yeah.
And you can tune it to be real fast.
Yeah.
It
Real
already
fast.
is, but it's going to be silly to tune for sure.
Good
Real
piece
fast.
of kit. It's got anti-lag.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. It sounds
pretty cool.
so weird, though.
Yeah.
He came back on our test day a couple weeks ago, and I literally thought he blew the motor up. The way it sounded.
Yeah.
It was.
When it's in the Sport Plus mode, it's
Yeah.
pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that mode is a little ridiculous. So
Yeah. But race day was good. Woke up early, normal thing. Like you do wake up a little like, oh, I can't wait for this to be over. I kind of feel you on that. Like, okay,
Yeah.
But it's like, butterflies, kind of happy. The thing that's kind of tough is like we were saying, we're camped so far away that, okay, we have to add an extra 10 miles to it, which is kind of nice in some ways because we're like, okay, we're just, putting down there. It's
Warms
kinda-
up the car,
warms
gets
up
you
the
in it,
car,
you get there,
yeah.
you're in your belts, your harnesses, everything. You got time to kind of adjust. But it's also stupid cold.
It's
It's
stupid
so
cold.
in the morning.
It was so
it's like,
cold.
what was it, 40?
I had blue nitrile gloves under my driving gloves. Like
Oh my
it was cold.
Yeah, it's cool, but I also feel like a complete idiot for doing it. But it was still fun. So we get down to the parade deal, contingency or whatever it is, and it's pretty cool. You just hang out. You get to saw some District 38 guys, so it was kind of nice to say what's up to them. And I think his name is Toby, but it was cool. We ended up somehow, me and Aaron ended up lining up with each other. We didn't think that was gonna happen. Like
Yeah.
that was cool.
It was cool because I got to let you.
Yeah, it
You
got
cruise
to
ahead. It was
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just wait till Patrick gets a Maverick R, dude.
I'm
It's
ready.
going to be game on.
I'm ready.
If there's 3, you're done.
Oh,
It doesn't matter. At least one of them has to finish first, and we're good.
Yeah.
We have a more luck.
We're due.
More luck.
Unless we all take each other out.
That would suck. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't do that.
That'd be pretty fun, but
Can't have
whose
3
car's gonna get cannibalized?
LSK wrapped cars taking each other out, dude.
I was thinking about it when me and Aaron were lined up. I was like, if he gets in front of me, am I gonna have to hit him? And I can't do that. Okay.
Well,
And
with this LSK product, he got nerfed pretty good, and it held up well.
I didn't hear about that.
I got nerfed twice
When?
in that same section.
Really? That
Damn, Matt R got
So-
nerfed twice. I only got nerfed once.
Yep.
I got nerfed once too.
Hard to get
Yeah.
nerfed on the side
I
of
was
it.
We
not
all
going to
got
send
nerfed.
it in that section.
Oh, got him.
I was not going to get nerfed in that section.
And that's where you got nerfed, though.
Yeah, because I did not want to blow a tire. I'm on stock tires.
I hear you.
That's wise for sure.
So
That section is nasty. That's that first section right outside the short course.
Yep.
It's just undulating, rocky, nasty. Like you watch the trophy truck guys, they go through it just the same way. They can't help it. You just do it as much as you can. And so we got through that, past Aaron, helicopters right there. Okay, this is cool. But then on the straight, suddenly foot to the floor, nothing. Pull off. Luckily, we were able to get to a spot that was good enough that my co-driver could go out and kind of flag cars down. And that took a little bit of time. Then a course worker came by and was flagging cars just to keep it safe. Like, you gotta be smart when you break down out there. Get off the course and all that stuff.
That was a pretty quick section. It's kind of a downhill sand section. I remember going by, you're like, no, he's already down.
I know.
But you're clipping along pretty good right there for sure.
Yeah.
So you broke a clutch, right?
It didn't break. It was the primary clutch bolt had worked its way out. Yeah, it came loose.
Broke off the taper.
It didn't break off anything.
No, I mean like it came off the taper. Like. It
Oh
was-
yeah. The
Yeah.
primary itself came off, so it was just sitting there in the thing. It took a little while because we were trying to get it figured out and trying to make sure. Okay, we don't want to go off and have it do it again, and so it took just long enough that it kind of screwed up our second lap. So we got it going. We're like, okay, I think this is gonna work, and we ended up seeing Brian. We say, "What's up to you?" And so that was kind of cool to say hi, but sad that we didn't get to see you out there. We go past that, get to pit. It was fun, like totally fun.
So you were fine after the clutch issue?
Yeah, we took it a little slow until we got to remote pit, and we had him, make sure it was snugged up and all that. But after that, we were just cruising. It was fun in that flowy section. We were passing a couple people. Felt nice. The race leader, one of the factory Polaris guys, just blew past us, like we were standing still. It was
Those guys
Those
were
cars
moving.
are
insane.
fast.
Those things are so cool.
Didn't they just win Baja too?
Yeah, those guys are gnarly. Those factory Polaris guys.
Yeah, there's lots
Brock,
of
I think
power.
it was. Yeah, the yellow car. Thing sounded so good. But he blew past us, and I knew, I was like, okay, so it's Grand Prix style, which means when the race leader finishes, it's done. It's done. So I saw that, I was like, oh, great, okay, whatever. So we get one good lap in, like, that's all right. We make it to the finish line, and this is nothing against, King of the Hammers folks or anything like that, but we finished it, and I knew already that, the race was over. And when we go through the flags, they give us the white flag, which means go out for another lap. And I already knew the race leader, and I got hit by one of the Matlocks too. They nerfed me, or bumped me. And so I knew that the pack, the top leader pack was going through. So when we got the white flag, I was, what? No, that's not right. Like, and people were pointing at us to keep going. And you know what? I pulled over, and I think I saw Harrison. He did another lap, and it was definitely a bit of confusion because him and I had done the same thing. We just did one lap, and we went through, and we both saw the white flag. So it was like, and I had to pull. I was a little upset when I pulled over, but it ended up being all right. We had a good time. Like, it was great.
So you didn't go back out though? You
Did
just
not
ran
go
back
back out. No, heck no. That would have been not fun. I don't want to get chased down by a trophy truck. Could you
Oh
imagine?
yeah, no kidding.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a good point.
So that was my weekend. Happy it was over, but had so much fun with everybody. Shout out to all our pit crew. Nikki, my wife, she helped out with the pits. So it was just a big team effort by everybody. Really big team effort, and those guys are the best.
I think we dialed it in quite a bit this year. I think.
Yeah, it's good.
I think
Be even better next
we
year.
definitely learned, and yeah, we'll keep improving it for
So
sure.
Moving forward, we're gonna try. This guy's getting the Maverick R. We're gonna have matching Maverick Rs with all the same parts, so that the pits have same parts, same everything. And then hopefully we can talk this guy into it.
We're working on it.
So we have 3 matching LSK Mav Rs with the same wrap, same parts, same everything. And
Full factory, baby.
Yeah.
one of the 3 of us is gonna do good.
And
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna buy us a
Who knows
semi,
who?
right?
No, I don't know about
What's
semi.
that?
A semi to fit all 3 cars in.
Semi truck. Oh yeah.
We'll get there. We'll get
One-
there.
one day.
Let's start with 3
Yeah.
cars first. We'll get them there.
We'll get there.
I mean, the semi was your idea last year.
I mean, it would be really cool to have an LSK semi, but
Imagine pulling in the hammers with that thing.
I think we're gonna be looking pretty good if we end up with 3 matching cars all wrapped and everything too. Fish was already calling out you two with the LSK wraps and stuff, so I think it'd be a good presence for sure.
Okay, so we have some goals for cars for this next year. For both of you guys get Maverick R's. What's the race schedule? What races you guys hitting this year before Hammers?
Before Hammers next year?
Yeah. So we got Rage of the River, Mint. We got a bunch of races coming up.
So you guys ran D38 last season and pretty much ran the whole season, right? You, like I said, I think you won the championship for Pro Turbo.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I don't know. I haven't got that far, to be honest. Still figuring out what car going to be run, but it would be cool to run the Mint or any of those bigger races would be super cool.
So DP4 would be cool. That's going to be a next step up from D38.
Be cool to run Parker.
Yeah. Parker would be cool.
There's a cool District 38 race. I can't get this guy to go back to District 38.
Oh man, it's just that Placer City is so gnarly. It's like you're put on the chopping block.
It's like 10 hours away, too.
It's like
10 hours away.
It's
So
yeah,
hard.
yeah.
It's a bit of a mission.
Yeah, District 38 is like you go on like when you go on King of Hammers, like oh it's a rough course, and it's like no, it's
I don't know,
not.
that 160 mile race that we did last year that was a fun course to me. There was
But
one shitty
majority of
section.
the District 38 courses in Placer City, it's like brute training,
Just
like,
destroying your shit.
Like you were just, it's meant for dirt bikes. They design the tracks for dirt bikes, and then you put UTVs on it, and it will teach you a lot of things. A lot of things.
Yeah.
It's brutal.
It's hard on cars, but man, it's fun. And they have that same race that we did, the 160. They have that again.
I'd probably like to hit that again. If the
That's what I'm
course is
saying.
anywhere similar, that was super fun.
Let's do
I didn't
it.
think that course was that bad. I just have the one chewed up nasty section, which we just cruised through.
Are you guys both doing DP4 this year?
Yeah. I'm planning on. They've actually DP4 runs in the summer as well, so they've got some night races.
That would
So
be
it seems
fun.
like it'd be
This
kinda
guy's
cool to
this
check
guy
out.
would be like running in the daylight.
I think you probably need a couple more lights, but
Yeah, not enough.
I don't know.
Hey, Baja, what do you
Baja, we need
think?
more.
I think
I think-
I think you're pretty dialed.
I think you need some more
We need
ambers
some
on this
more.
thing.
Yeah. We need some lights that like point in the sky and stuff. Like like the Batman logo in the sky, but LSK.
You see those LP9 flashlights they came out with?
Oh, those are sweet.
Oh, with the Milwaukee
They're, like,
battery.
this
Those are sweet.
Wild.
Yeah.
big. Yeah. All right. Well,
Wait, so for other races, what would you have in mind?
besides DP4,
Yeah.
Rage of the River.
Rage would be cool. Is
Mint
that
would have been
Parker?
cool, but it's too soon.
It's too soon.
And I don't think we're ready for that yet. But Rage of the River will be really cool.
Vegas to Reno, you think that's too big?
The Parker,
That's a big one.
race is this weekend, I think, right?
Is it?
dude, getting to the Mint
Or
would
next
be
weekend.
pretty gnarly after Hammers.
Yeah.
Like you already see everybody on Instagram, they're all just like thrashing again. Like, where's your break time in between these two big races? you know?
Yeah, right.
How dedicated are you? You know?
Yeah,
Or pick your schedule, I guess, for sure.
yeah.
I don't know. We're finding ourselves deeper and deeper quickly, so be interesting to
I
see
think
where
we
it
for
goes.
sure should try and get to Rage of the River this year.
Be sweet.
When is that?
Like December
Oh, yeah,
4th
that'd
or
be
something.
cool.
I'm in.
December. That's
It's in December,
We
yeah.
can. I think we can do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice. Okay.
December, and then maybe next year do Hammers and the Mint.
Ooh, that'd be cool
Dang.
to get that one lined up, ready to go.
I think if you had a smooth Hammers weekend, that'd be pretty doable.
Yeah. And the Maverick R.
We can get Aaron to do the rock race next year at Hammers.
That would be really
Oh,
fun.
I don't know
I
about
think
that.
I think it'd be fun.
That'd be really fun.
You know, I feel like that's where you go in, and if you don't want your car anymore and you want to sign that thing off, you go
Yeah.
through Hammers, and you move on to another car. You put it up for sale.
It's like a dirt bike doing the
So-
24-hour race. You buy it and sell it.
Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. It's into the
You see that
rocks.
one that slammed into the rock? It was all
Yeah.
in slow mo,
Yeah.
but it got right back on, and he just
I
kept.
think
going.
that was still Kyle Cheney, right?
Yeah.
That was his X3, I think. Yeah, that was pretty wild. First car coming in the rock race was a Can-Am
Just
X3.
fully pinned that whole way through.
Wild.
Send it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I think we're going in the right direction. We'll hopefully be pretty competitive.
We'll be sending this thing off a cliff here soon.
No, we won't.
Why'd you get into racing originally? Like, this is a newer thing for you, right, Aaron?
Me? So I was at dinner with this guy, and he was like, "Hey,
It's a true story.
Mhm.
it is." Yeah. He was like, "Let's go racing." I was like,
Just like that.
boom, I don't even know what happened. And then all of a sudden, I'm like,
You're calling me
making
every
rhythm
night.
dance for the car and like figuring this all out. And then once you do it once, then you're screwed forever.
Yeah, that X3 turned into a race car pretty quick.
Yeah, it did.
And once, like you said, once you get that bite, man, it is a
Yeah, it's kind of like
addicting.
if you do any of this stuff once, you pretty much have to do it for the rest of your life.
So
Nothing else compares once you
Nothing.
do that. It's pretty
Nothing.
hard.
yeah, nothing. So
Cool.
yeah.
You guys have anything else you want to talk about?
No, just had a blast. It's fun. It's fun doing this as a team for sure. So I want to thank everybody that came out and helped us and had a blast.
Cool. Yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Leave some comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.
Hell yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.